Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, teacher.
Good afternoon, my dear students. Good afternoon.
Hello, teacher. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Good
Fine.
afternoon, teacher.
Today our topic is very interesting, okay, my dear students. Today we are going to talk about graffiti
Good
or
morning.
muralings, okay? Today we are going to talk about graffiti or muralings.
Epic.
In moments you are going to read about this interesting topic and you are going to watch a video, and our activity today is related to create graffiti or muralings. You are going to paint whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to start.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, everybody.
Teacher.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my dear students, we are going to start praying at the same way that we do in class. Everybody position to pray.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
Lord,
May nothing separate
separate me from you today.
how
Teach
you
me
only the way
to
they
only today, so each step will bring me closer to you.
my heart.
You are my word and not my feelings. Help me to keep my heart pure and divided. Protect me from my own thoughts, words, and actions. Keep me from being distracted by my wants, my desires, my thoughts, and how it should be. To embrace what comes my way as an opportunity rather than a personal inconvenience. Intelligence to learn to do my work with responsibility and to be respectful to all the people around me. Amen.
Okay, amen, everyone. Now we are going to start watching the following video, okay? I'm going to show you the following video. And then we are going to read the document about this topic today. We are going to talk about graffiti, street art, and contemporary muralings, okay? This is our topic, graffiti, street art, and contemporary muralings, okay? Then you are going to read, but first we are going to start watching the following video. And then you are going to get your own conclusions about this video. Pay attention, my dear students, to the following video. Wait a minute.
This is Chicago model Josie Fox, and it's actually painted. It's called The Tale of Two Wolves. It's an old Indian painting about good and bad, evil and light. And the Indian saying goes, "Which wolf wins?" to a young son. Well, it's the one you feed. Is this art? This is Chicago model, and it's a Day of the Dead painting. It's all airbrushed using graffiti-style spray paint and spray cans. What about this? This is the first image you see when you walk through the double doors of an old high school. Here's a better image. It shows the city and represents the community of where the kids were from. You see, when I was a kid and growing up, I've always felt embarrassed about the kind of art that I did and the kind of work that I did. But why? Because today in our society, there's this stigma that anything that's spray painted or airbrushed is automatically graffiti. And what's graffiti? It's vandalism, right? Graffiti's bad. It's bad for communities. But I believe that it's just art. You see, airbrushes, graffiti cans are just a tool, just like anything else. Just use spray and air to paint images. I believe that art can change the world, and images can be more powerful than words. You see, my name is Diego Gonzalez. I'm an airbrush artist, and those are my tools, spray cans and graffiti. But those are just tools, aren't they? I believe that images can change the way that we view education. Images can change the way that we look at the communities and bring art into communities. I believe that images can be more powerful than words. So I want to tell you guys a story. And like all great stories, it was a story about love. When I was 12 years old, all I wanted to do was become an artist. Like, that was my goal. I just wanted to show my art to everybody and anybody that wanted to listen. So I was kind of like that annoying pesky kid that kept on saying, check this out, check this out. So I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship through the Munster Community Art Program. And to me, that was like magic. I mean, it was my Willy Wonka ticket. I was a 12-year-old kid. It was divine intervention. It couldn't be anything else. So from there on, I knew that I had to become an artist, and that's what I did. I persevered at it. At that time, I was young, and I wasn't yet tainted by society's viewpoints that this should be art, this is bad art, or at the very worst, that it's no art at all. I was young and idealistic, but I kept on persevering. So I can remember the first public art piece I did as a student. And I can remember the first airbrush I received. I mean, it was this shiny metal object in a box. It was this cool, awesome tool that you can paint on cars, skate decks, canvases. It can go on any surface. It was so versatile. To me, there was two types of art in the world. There was this amazing airbrush tool, and then everything else. Nothing else mattered. You see, I can remember the first project I did when I was in high school, 17 years old. And I was inspired by the ceiling tiles painted in front of my art class. So every senior student got to paint their own tile. And I always wanted to do one. It was like leaving a legacy behind. So by the time I got to paint my own tile, they're already all taken. But I was persistent. I was this buggy kid. Well, can I paint a tile? I said, can I paint one? Our teacher's like, what? Well, Diego, you can't paint a tile, but if you stop bugging me, I'll let you paint the wall outside. I'm like, heck, I get out of class. I don't have to do this normal assignments other kids did. So needless to say, I took a lot longer than I usually would. Kind of stretched it out a little bit. So I painted this mural outside the classroom, and to my surprise, something magical happened. Kids liked it, students liked it, teachers liked it, they talked about it. Kids would say, fellow classmates would be like, hey, I like walking down this way, that hallway, because I passed your mural and it makes me happy. There was something happening in the cities. A revolution was happening. In the streets of LA, in the streets of Brooklyn, in the streets of London, England, street artists and graffiti artists were taking their work and moving them from remote places like abandoned cars and buildings and putting them in the most trafficked places in the country. And if you put your art, if you're a street artist and you put it in the most trafficked place, you received cred, or street cred. And the artist that had the most cred, does anybody know who Banksy is? You heard of him. Well, if people haven't heard of Banksy, he put his art in the middle of streets of LA, in the middle of Times Square. And his art was changing. It wasn't just graffiti anymore. He shared his ideas that commented on political views and satirical views of the world. He shared his art with everybody. And it was cool. Banksy was this cool artist that, for example, he had pictures of George Bush coming out of this huge helicopter, this military vehicle, and then him holding a sign saying applause. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But we forget as a society that those ideas are ridiculous. Art lets us remember that. He has a picture of a dove flying over, representing peace with a bulletproof vest strapped on. So he was this cool artist. You know, Andy Warhol said, art is dead. Well, if art is dead, then we have to be Frankenstein. We have to get it out of the galleries and just put it in the cities too, so everybody can see. Banksy said, the people that truly deface our cities are the big companies that scroll slogans across bus stops and billboards and ads. You know, people think that nothing has the right to exist in a community unless it makes a profit. And they make you feel bad and inadequate unless you buy their stuff. Anybody that puts something in front of you and doesn't ask you whether you like it or whether you want to see it or not, well, that place is yours. Reuse it, rearranging it, take it back. Asking permission is like asking to keep a rock somebody threw at your head. So, but what does this all have to do with education? Well, that's the question that found me. About 3 years ago, in 2012, a teacher asked me to paint some murals inside her classroom in a high school, a government facility. I'm like, hey, I get to deface public property again. What a great idea. So I did. And I would work at night, like a crazy artist, right, madman. So I'd paint these murals, and at night it would be this white wall, nothing there, and then I'd work hours and hours on end. And the next day, another piece would show up like this. And they would have tiny little phrases like, where are you going? Science lets you explore.
What's happened with your camera?
Imagination.
Put absence.
And then like a mad scientist down the hallway. And then the art teacher came to me. She said, Diego, you know what the kids are saying about your art? I'm like, I don't know.
But teacher, mi camera is too normal.
Say to them,
What happened with
it's
your
like
camera?
magic. from a
Sí, está encendida, teacher.
It wasn't just graffiti or vandalism. It was something that made them happy. It was something that made them feel good about themselves. When we ask, and I ask a lot of people as an artist, what is the benefits of public art? All of us, how does it help us? Think about it. How does art help you? Well, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to describe how art helps you. You see, the benefit of public art isn't conscious or literal. It's something that's more unconscious. And what it does is it raises the energy of a community. It asks you whether you want to be part of this community, whether this represents you or how you feel about the community. And also, art is an influencer. How many people here like music? I bet you all could probably name your top 3 or 10 bands off the top of your head or musicians. Well, art is just like that. It could influence you and change the way you look at something. And how does this, though, affect education, too? Well, that's something that kind of also found me. I'm an artist, right? And my brother is a computer scientist. He's like the other end of the spectrum. I'm like right here, and he's like the super brainiac. But we all talk about the kind of work that we do. And in his programming domain, there's something called the broken window theory. Well, the broken window theory states that if you let small problems and bugs go in the system and small transgressions go, they lead to more heinous problems in the system. Little bugs can cause great errors and destroy entire systems. Well, 2 researchers did a research study, and they put an abandoned car in Brooklyn. And they wanted to see how the environment affected the area. So they left it there. And they left it there for weeks on end. And what would happen to it? Would it be destroyed, vandalized, or whatnot? Well, weeks went by. Nothing happened. Then one researcher actually broke out the front windshield. Bam. Guess what happened? Within the matter of 48 hours, in hours, the whole car the wheels are taking off, the battery was stolen, it was defaced, it was destroyed. You see, the point is, environment matters. Until somebody said, I don't care about that car, I don't care about the place that I'm from, nothing happened. But until that happened, all hell broke loose. You see, there's a point to this, that they actually did studies too in schools. They started cleaning up broken windows and glass, they started painting on the walls, and it actually affected the way the students cared about the place they were from. That they started appreciating it more. They had higher attendance rates and things like that. And actually, students not only liked it for being a pretty picture, but they did something else. Guess what? Next class. They started painting their own murals. They consciously started doing things in the community, believe it or not, that weren't just boring community service. They were just doing something fun, and they're engaging in learning art, and they made their own murals. Andy Warhol, Pablo Picasso, and they had little phrases and sayings in there. And it was really cool and really great. Art, I'm an artist. And art is so different in learning and doing it than anything else. How do we learn in school? You get an A, you do good, you get a good grade, right? And that's good and positive. Well, art is, there's no A, there's no right, there's no wrong. There's just art. You make it, and you persevere. Well, there is a study that's called the Studio Habits of the Mind that teaches you to persist and persevere. Everyone here is here, and they're all of you are really accomplished people, but how did you become accomplished? You learned that trial and error, right? So you persevered, you kept on pushing forward. Well, art teaches you that, and not a lot of people realize that, how important it is. So you see, there also is there's also a rich history of art in our cities and our communities. In the 1920s, US citizens were actually bombarded by ads and advertisements. And they're actually taking back their public spaces, going into places, people like me, people like you, that were defacing public property because they didn't want to be seen by billboards and have these billboard ads bombarding them when people didn't have much money. In the 40s, the greatest generation ever known was saying, I'm here and I exist. Writing Kilroy is here. All of you know this image, don't you? This image is iconic. But did you know this was actually painted by a graffiti artist, a street artist named Shepard Fairey? And he's proof, as a case study, that one single person with little or no political ties, with little or no influence or money as a person, could actually change and affect the democratic election. It can create a revolution, an impact in the streets of Tunisia, North Egypt, North Ireland. they're actually cutting off all internet connections, all lines, and they're saying that you couldn't use your cell phone, you couldn't use your Facebook, but that's how they were actually communicating. So citizens were taking to the streets. They're bringing their art to the streets. People that weren't even artists were making murals, and then they were spreading like wildfire because they're saying, I believe what you believe, and they kept on reproducing these images. And it was powerful. It was showing that art can actually not just be graffiti, art can not just be vandalism, but it could be a tool for mass communication, a tool to inspire and change and revolutionize an area. So, art can change the way we view education. Art can change the way that we view cities and the impact of society. Whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a mother, or a father, art is really beneficial and it can help you. You know, I always urge people not only to share arts and to support it, but also create it yourselves. Because when you're doing that, you're constantly learning new habits and learning to expand your mind. This is a beautiful world, and art makes it just a little more beautiful. Banksy said, imagine a city that just, you know, where graffiti wasn't illegal, where the walls were painted with millions of colors and tiny little phrases, where standing at a bus stop was never boring. Well, imagine a city that felt like a party and everybody was invited, not just the big barons of business and company. Imagine a city like that and stop leaning on the wall. It's wet. And that's an idea worth sharing. Thank you.
Okay, my dear students, okay. Now you are going to answer my questions here. Okay, I write on the board. I write on the board the following questions, okay? You are going to answer me these questions. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, Conan. You are the first one. Conan, you are the first one. Conan, power on your microphone. Conan, power on your microphone.
Yeah, now.
Okay. Now you are going to answer the following questions, okay?
Okay.
Okay. What do you think about graffitis or muralings? What do you think about?
I think they're art too, and I think they're like funny.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. But do you think that this is art or vandalism? What do you think about?
I think it depends. Because if you like grow in streets that are really boring, that like it's art. But when you enter a private, I don't know, zone or a house of someone, and then you like start to doing a graffiti, that's like vandalism.
Okay.
But
Okay, Conan. It's perfect because an artist express their feelings through this art, okay? Through the use of graffiti. They express their feelings, okay? Their feelings, their emotions, okay? It's very important, yeah, and the situation depends, how do you say? Thanks, Conan. The next one, Alexander. Alexander, good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, teacher.
What do you think about graffitis or muralings?
I think this art is a muralism because the materials ¿cómo se dice? It's a muralism.
Okay. What do you think about this is art or vandalism? Alexander, what do you think about this is art or vandalism? Alexander.
Yeah, I think this art because it's representative. Is representative for about yes.
Okay, thanks. Derling. Good afternoon, Derling.
Good
It's your
afternoon,
turn.
teacher.
What do you think about graffitis or murals? What do you think?
I think this is art
Okay, perfect. Why? Give me your reason.
because can you express your feelings?
Okay, your emotions, yes. Yes, perfect. Okay. Sometimes the people think that graffiti is vandalism, okay? But I think that in my own decision,
Depends the occasion.
in my own thinking about, I think that is art because the artists express their emotions, their feelings, okay? Is a way that they can use to express to the other people their feelings. I think that graffiti have uh, uh, that graffitis has many meanings for all the environment. Okay. Thanks, Darling. Darla, what do you think about? What do you think about graffitis or vandalism? Graffitis or vandalism. Graffitis or muralisms. What do you think about?
I think are pictures in walls,
Okay.
type of art.
Do you think that is art or vandalism?
Vandalism.
Do you think that,
Because
do you think that is vandalism? Yes.
yes,
Okay.
much vandalism as
Okay.
art.
Okay. But it depends. Okay, Darlita. But it depends. Okay, because through the use of this technique, because I think that is a technique used to do a graffiti or muralism, you are using your art, you are expressing your feelings, okay? But depends, in many situations, in many cases, the people do vandalism through the use of graffitis or muralism, okay? Andy Sicha, what do you think about graffitis or muralism?
Okay, teacher. Let me see. Wait a minute, teacher. Now, a ver. Graffitis. I think that should be muralisms.
Okay.
The reason is that. Oh, okay.
Do you think that is art or vandalism?
Art.
Okay, perfect.
Sometimes it's art because I see in the in part of the in the part of ¿cómo se dice? Como para llegar al condado de Sherpin. Yeah. Ahí one time here they can draw and draw many different types of art and this be so beautiful. Sometimes that's be vandalism because many people that thinks that the graffitis be
Okay. In my own opinion, I think that if you are going to write in the wall of whatever house, you are going to write Lionel is the better player of soccer in the world. I think that is vandalism. Okay. Another situation, I think you are going to write the people that you like. You are going to write. I think a name. Fernanda, I love you. I think that is, in this case, that is vandalism, okay? It's not art, it's not, you are not expressing, you are only writing on, or are you going to put only the words that you like? It's not art, okay? What do you think, Alejandro?
Okay. I think that it's art.
Okay.
Okay, it depends. When you do it, if you do the art or muralism in a public place, there it is not art because you can do it if it is your own place in your house in a specific place to do graffiti or mural, and you can do all the things that you want.
Okay, you think that is art, okay? Not vandalism, okay?
No.
Okay, perfect. Another one, another. Vale, what do you think about graffitis or muralism?
I think that is a type of art.
Okay. Do you think that is art or vandalism?
It's it depends
Okay.
of the people that do this, because there are some people that do this with good intentions, but there are some people that do this with bad intentions that is not good to
For
the
example,
city.
okay, for example, in front of my house, all the time, my neighborhood is painting all the walls of their house, but vandalism, right? Whatever you can imagine in your mind, whatever you imagine, they write there. Okay, that in this case is vandalism. It's not art. Okay, it's not art. Art express the feelings or emotions that you can transmit to the other people. Okay, thanks. Another one. Thanks, Vale. The next
Okay, teacher.
one, Darla. The next one, Andy. I hear you. David, what do you think about? David. David, what do you think about graffitis or muralism? Do you think that is art or vandalism? David, power on your microphone.
Yeah,
Okay, go.
it is
What do you think? This is art or vandalism?
or vandalism.
Do you think that is vandalism? Why? Why? Give me your reason.
Is where the
Okay, think about it, then you are going to give me your answer, okay? Arianka, good morning, good afternoon, Arianka. Arianka,
Good afternoon, teacher.
how are you today, Arianka?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, Arianka, what do you think about graffitis or muralism? What do you think? Do you think that is art or vandalism?
I think it's art because the graffiti's expression the expression that the most the talent of the people.
Perfect. Thanks, Arianka. Julio. Good afternoon, Julio.
Good afternoon, teacher.
What do you think about graffitis or muralism? Do you think that is art or vandalism?
I think the graffitis is a way of show feelings.
Okay. It's a way that you
And
express.
I think that it's art.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Anto, what do you think about graffitis or muralism? Do you think that is art or vandalism? You can speak. Okay.
I think
What do you think?
Is art because it's your form de distrae. Algo así.
Okay. Okay, it's a way how the people get their mind in other things. Okay, it's fine. Thanks, Anto. Who wants to share with us your opinion? Raise your hand. Who wants to tell something about this? Raise your hand. Alejandro. Okay, wait. Okay, now Alejandro. Alejandro, now tell me. You want to... Alejandro. Okay, Alejandro, tell me.
Now, estaba con la mano.
¿Ah?
Era de antes.
Oh,
perdón.
No,
sorry.
Another person who wants to add something about this? Nobody? Okay, we are going to continue. Okay, we are going to continue. I'm going to show you the following document. Okay, here we are. Here we go. Let's talk about graffiti, street art, and contemporary muralism. Okay?
Me.
Who wants to read?
Me.
Who is me? Okay, wait a minute. Who is me? Alejandro?
I am me.
Ah, okay. Alejandro, do you want to read? Go.
Yep.
I'm going to share my screen, okay? Wait a minute. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, go.
Wait. Okay. I don't know if you, like me, have ever had about the difference between graffiti and street art. Also, recently I came across the term contemporary muralism, which is why I took on the ask of doing more in-depth research on these issues. With this point, I intend to clarify any questions relating to graffiti, urban or street art, and contemporary muralism. The information that I will present below is based on the results of reading books, posts, and articles related to the subject and whose reference I will share at the end. It all comes out of graffiti, so let's start by defining it. What is graffiti? Graffiti is the plural form of the Italian word grafica. In the plural, graphic means drawings, marks, patterns, doodles, or messages at the painted writing or came on a wall or surface. Graphical also means scratch, in reference to the different wall writings, ranging from cave paintings, but doodles or any messages scratching on the walls. In reference to current graffiti, their definition is qualified and by adding that graffiti is also any unsolicited and make it on private or public property that is usually considered vandalism, searching for new and creative ways to display names or pseudonyms and a high visible place, rather than simply scribing them anywhere, was the driving force behind the development of modern graffiti art.
Okay, thanks. The next one, David, do you want to read the next part? David, read the next part. Okay, read the next part. What is urban art or street art? Okay.
What is the urban art or street art? Also known as street art, this is the name given to all the art we find on the street. Most commonly on one are frequently illegal.
The street art is based on graffiti, okay? The term street art, also called post graffiti, arises when graffiti artists begin to incorporate new techniques into their works in addition to the spray, which was initially the only tool in graffiti, such as acrylic, paint, brushes, rollers, templates, and stencils, stickers, etc. The various historical aspects of graffiti and the different forms and techniques that exist today have made it necessary to group all the branches of a style under the word graffiti. But many artists tend to distance themselves from this word because they believe that it is no longer contemporary. They prefer to label their work as aerosol art, post-graffiti, neo-graffiti, street art, or contemporary muralism to differentiate themselves. Since the mid-1990s, the term street art has been used to describe the work of artists who have developed a mode of artist expression on the streets through the use of the various techniques already mentioned. These murals are also usually commissioned, that is, request and paid to artists. Street art participate and for which they also commonly receive a payment. Some urban artists Some urban artists try to capture a message, and others simply want to add a decorative art element to a wall. Some murals also reflect the personalities, experience, and emotion of these artists, okay? Look at the picture here. We have some examples here, okay? The next class, my dear students, you are going to create your own work about relate to muralism or graffiti. For this activity, you need some materials like crayons, temperas, markers, and other materials that you are going to use, okay? Whatever you want. You are going to create your own mural. The next class, you are going to bring the materials that you are going to need for this activity. Tell me, Andy.
Ok, teacher. Teacher, o sea que esa actividad, la que nos acaba de decir, vamos a trabajarla a la siguiente clase,
The
¿verdad?
next class, The next class we are going to work. The next class we are going to work. You are going to create your own muralism, your own graffiti. You are going to give your meaning to this drawing, okay? You are going to give your meaning to this drawing. What are you doing, Julio? You are showing Vegeta. What is Vegeta? What is that?
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
Me lo acaban de venir a entregar.
Ah, okay.
Sí, ayer lo pedí.
Okay, perfect. Okay, my dear students, the next class, remember, you are going to create...
Galleta.
Okay, the next class, you are going to create your own mural, your own graffiti, okay? For this activity, you need only an empty paper, okay? On an empty paper, you are going to create, for the next class, you are going to work on an empty paper, okay? Okay, chicos, nos vemos la próxima clase, pórtense bien.
Fine.
Cuídense mucho.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, bye.
Bye, teacher, have fun.
La próxima clase.
Ese club de
Bye,
Porricer,
teacher.
Conan.
Sí,
Yes, son los de
Yo-
Lucky
todos
Star. Bye,
coleccionan
bye.
letras,
Teacher.
¿no? Chao.
Lolicon.
Conan está en
Chao.
Japón.
Bye,
Lolicon.
bye.
Yes. Yes, and
Lolicon detected.
yes. Bye.
Conan es cochino.
How dare you.
Vehículos,
Se acaba de ir, teacher, y no se acaba.
Open the door.
Ah, no.
Recuerden algo que en la
Vendedor.
próxima clase, estas actividades que hemos hecho, todo eso va a servir para su portafolio que tienen que entregar, ¿no? ¿Sí? Todas esas hojitas van a guardar en sus carpetitas y todo. ¿Sí? Ok. Me imagino que eso tienen que, no pueden dejar en la escuela, no sé qué irán a hacer con ese portafolio, pero es un requisito para que puedan finalizar el año. Bueno, mis chicos, un fuerte abrazo a todos. Cuídense mucho, chicos. Bye, bye. See you next class.